Kawasaki has a problem. They want to sell you a cruiser with wide bars and low seats and retro styling and all the rest of it, but they also can't help themselves. Somewhere in our factory, in Akashi, there's an engineer who keeps saying, sure, we can make it lazy and comfortable, but can we also make it fast and light, like some sort of husky in sweatpants? So that's why we end up with things like this, the Kawasaki Eliminator. And today, I'm looking to answer the question, is this actually a good bike? Or is it just a Ninja 500 doing a Sons of Anarchy boss bike? Well, this is not actually the first time the Kawasaki have done something like this. In the 80s, they made the Eliminator 900, which was based on the GBZ 900R, aka the first Ninja. So they are used to, or they have a history of, merging the Ninjas and their cruiser counterparts. In fact, it's the same engine that you find in the Ninja 500. I think it's 451cc, around 45 horsepower. The Ninja does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. I think this will be a little bit slower because it is a little bit heavier. In fact, in terms of weight, it feels very, very similar to my old Keyway Superlight 125. Maybe it should have been called the Super Fat. I don't know. Other bikes have a lot more weight to them and there's a bit more of an effort to get them to kind of lean over, and you just do not have that with this bike. It just darts. It's like, yep, I want to be there, I want to be there, I want to be there. It's like dancing, if anyone would ever dance with me. The Ninja 500 does 0 to 60 in around 4.5 seconds. In fact, I think I did it in 4.2 in the video review of that bike. Go watch that if you haven't already. This feels like it's probably slightly slower, but not massively so. So what are my initial impressions about the bike's power? Feels very, very similar to the Ninja 500, and it would. Because it is the Ninja 500 engine dressed up in a different chassis to make it look like a cruiser, so of course it feels very similar to that. I'd like to say I am supremely comfortable on this bike. I read other reviews or watched other reviews by people that are around my height, and they're all saying that they're really bunched up and they're, you know, claustrophobic, and so I think they've just read that and they're just repeating it, because I mean, I'm 5'11", I've got a 32-inch inseam, which is pretty much exactly what all these people are saying. I'm not bunched up. I'm not struggling. I'm okay. Maybe you can have a cruiser that's sporty and darty and fast. I guess that's what Kawasaki are trying to prove. And you know what? They make a good point. They make a good point. We are going to turn off and we're going to go take a look at it. It looks fantastic. It rides great. It's light. It rides like a sports bike in a relaxed position. That's the best way I could explain it to you, because that is exactly what it is. I would like the boots from the SE, but if I bought the SE, the first thing I'd do is take off that cowl. I don't like it. Don't know why. Just don't. The bars are raised a little bit, not too much, nothing crazy, but they are raised up, nothing. So you've just got that neutral riding position. The mirrors get really bad reviews. I saw one guy losing his mind with them, but they're fine. Unless you're a really, really big guy, then maybe you fill them, but you can adjust them, you know. I could see fine behind me. I've dealt with a lot worse. Trust me, the Harley mirrors are a lot worse. We've got this flat, low tank that's quite wide when you're on the bike, as you can probably see in the POV video. This back end is interesting because Kawasaki say that the back end is modern but retro. And I kind of see what they're getting. So we've got old school twin shocks on the back rather than the unitrack suspension you see in the Ninja 500. We've got this big blocky brake light with the indicators come out the side of it, just like the original Eliminator, and this kind of fairing that goes over the top of it, or the rear that goes over the top of it. It looks good. When you first look at it, it might look a little bit random. You're like, well, where are they going with the lines on it? But when you understand what they're trying to do, they're trying to modern retro it, it makes total sense. So one thing we have to talk about is ergonomics, because some of the reviews that I've seen about this bike, and most of the guys seem to be the same height as me, 5'11", 32-inch inseam. They all say, or most of them say, that they feel really bunched up when they're riding it, but that's really not my experience. I feel like they've read or watch somebody else's review and they're just repeating what that person says. And Kawasaki said when they made this bike that they were trying to make it for all sorts of shapes and sizes, like a one-size hat. I'm not reaching forward, I'm not leaning back, I'm kind of chill. This is a perfect kind of commuting position.
So yeah, don't listen to the reviews that are saying that if you're, 5'10", 5'11", you're going to feel cramped. You're not. This is what that looks like, riding the bike at that height. If you're shorter, you've got plenty of room. Like, I can bend my leg and flat foot the bike very, very easily. And you can get a 1 inch smaller or a 1 inch taller seat as well. So if you do need a little bit of adjustability, it is there. But honestly, this would fit almost anybody, in my opinion. Anyway, let's go and do some faster roads and see how it performs and how comfortable it really is.
I tell you what though, I really like this bike. This is much more me in style, but without compromising on performance. I see what you're doing, Kawasaki, and you're doing good things. It's definitely more sports bike than cruiser. It looks like a cruiser, but it goes like a sports bike. So the last part of this test and where we're headed now is we're going to see how this bike performs on the motorway or freeway for my American friends. It's really got enough get up and go if you need it. Like if you just pull the throttle back even in 6th gear, it's still going. Like I don't know what the top speed of this bike is, but it's plenty, man. It's good. It's good enough. Things I don't love about this bike. The speedo, I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the fact that it's off-center. It's absolutely wrecking my OCD. I think there's a reason for that. It's meant to emulate the old like cafe racer modified bikes, but I don't like it. I like things centralized. I also don't like the screen itself. Like, why does it look like a 90s calculator? I'd much prefer if it was black with white writing, or if it was a digital screen, because I am basically Gen Z, or nearly Gen Z. So I need something that I can watch Paw Patrol on whilst I'm riding, you know?
But there is another thing. It's only after coming home and taking a ride on my Sportster, I'm reminded of the character and the absolute theatre of starting up a meaty cruiser engine and being audibly assaulted with the character and the gravitas of a meat and potatoes cruiser. I didn't notice it when I was riding the Eliminator, but I missed that gravitas. The Eliminator does a good impression of a cruiser, but it almost wears it more of as a Halloween costume rather than in its heart of hearts. It's a great bike and I'd have one any day. But to say that it earns the cruiser part of its sports cruiser moniker feels like a half-truth. This is a thoroughbred Kawasaki with a classic silhouette. And that's fine, and I appreciate that this is somewhat of an ambivalent verdict, but anytime you dip your toes in two very contrasting worlds, you'll always end up falling more heavily on one side.